What's up? I'm sure you're super excited to hear what I think Mario Kart World DLC should be. Well, I have bad news. You fell for my clickbait. It's the oldest trick in the book for a masturbator such as myself. This video is actually creating DLC for the Mario Kart game I designed in my last video. So go watch that first if you haven't already. In that video, you'll get an in-depth guide to how the systems and game modes work, and this DLC video builds off of that foundation. To give a quick recap, if you don't want to watch it, it's a Mario Kart game, obviously, but where it deviates is it has 12 Grand Prix Cups, an open world, 6 single-player story mode cups, which could then be played as normal Grand Prix Cups after completion, Knockout Tour, and boss battles. The focus of this DLC will be going over story cups, the new characters, tracks, open world islands, and boss fights that are added with it. Alright, for our DLC pass, it'll work similar to the Booster Course Pass from MK8, where every 2 months a new wave is released. Each wave will include a new story cup, which can then be played as a normal Grand Prix Cup after, an island which houses the tracks and can be explored in free roam, and 3 new playable characters with their own costumes. We won't go over them, but each wave also includes new wraps, P-switch missions, and a cart. Those are more left up to your imagination though. And for our first wave of the DLC pass, we're going to start off strong with Paper Mario. Our story cup opens with normal Mario fixing a leaky pipe in Goombario's house, when all of a sudden everything starts to turn to paper around him, and eventually, the two of them. They then walk out of his house and see Castle Black appear on the other side of the island as an evil laugh can be heard, so they hop in their carts and start driving. The first track is shaped like a freaking Goomba, yo. Not much to say about it, it's just a track going around Goomba Village. And everything looks like it does in Paper Mario. In story mode, you'll be racing against a bunch of Koopas. After leaving Goomba Village, the duo continue their way to the castle, when as they're driving, the road they're driving on folds and crumbles like paper and tosses them into the flower fields they were driving by. That opens our second track, Flower Fields. A link of circles make up this girly track and it features most of the paper aesthetic. Nothing more to say other than that the Koopas are still racing against you. After finally escaping the flower fields, they reach the bridge to cross to the castle, only to find it has been burned up from a newly formed fire river below. So the duo go to the train station to lower the bridge and cross the river there. And this is Riverside Station. Race in and outside of a beautiful train station found in a desert-like region as the sun cinematically sets on the horizon. As they lower the bridge, the flames start to lick and burn the paper bridge, but they cross just in time before it erupts into flames and withers away. Now on to the fourth and final track of the cup, Castle Black. Traverse through this dark castle featuring a unique visual with pitch black floors and wall trimmed with a perfect white light. This track visually will feel incredibly different to every other track that the series has ever seen. And in the castle you'll pass through dining halls, banquet rooms, just classic castle locales. At the end of the track, the duo reach the center of the keep, and in the big throne room, Count Bleck has his back turned to them until he starts maniacally laughing and then turns around. The Count Bleck boss fight. The first stage of the fight, Bleck will summon a paper track which resembles an origami giraffe into existence, which he will then chase you along, spawning crumpled balls of paper in front of you which you must avoid. Hitting him 3 times with the shells you pick up along the way yields the second stage, where he raises up into the air and uses his wand to rearrange the track to look like a crane. He keeps chasing you through this new track and keeps the same attack except the paper balls are now bigger. After hitting him again 3 times, you will enter the final stage, where the paper track falls apart and the remains create walls around the arena. You must find and chase down Bleck all the while he spawns the paper boulders around the track randomly, hitting him 3 times, then finally defeats him. Obviously, throughout this campaign, you've been playing as Paper Mario, and you would have unlocked him for all the game modes when Wave 1 drops. You can purchase his only alternate costume, which is a Luigi style, from a shop on the new island, which also comes with Wave 1. When you have beaten the story cup we just went over, you'll unlock Goombario, and all of his other alternate costumes are the other companions found in the original Paper Mario, and they can be unlocked by finding them in the new island. And if you replay the story cup on hard mode, you'll unlock the character Count Bleck. Unfortunately, he has no alternate costumes. Oh, and quick side note, in the original video, each character had an additional 5 styles. For the DLC characters, they'll only have styles that are fun and or necessary. I'm not forcing 5 styles on each character, so some of them like Count Bleck will just have 1. Anyway, time to move on to Wave 2. Our second wave is Nintendo Classics, which is obviously themed around classic Nintendo properties from the 80s. Upon launch, you'll gain access to Duck Hunt, who has an additional pixelated style, as well as the new island. And now, onto the Story Cup. The scene will open up with Duck Hunt and Little Mac just chillin', when all of a sudden, on the other side of the island from Nintendo headquarters, a huge wave of energy erupts, and when it comes into contact with them, they glitch out and go pixelated for a short time, similar to like in the Spider-Verse movies. Before coming back to normal, they look at each other, then glitch out again, and when back to normal, they start riding towards HQ to fix the problem. For our first track of the cup, we have Origins. This track goes around a cocktail table arcade game of the original Donkey Kong, buried into the ground. In story mode, you'll race against the other classic Nintendo characters from the time, like Mario, Donkey Kong, etc. These will also be the NPCs you race for the entirety of the story mode. Continuing their travels across the land, they continue to glitch out, as the view pans out to reveal them being closer to the headquarters. For our second track, we have Duck Hunt. In this track, you'll be racing through a field similar to that found in the Duck Hunt game. It'll be made of big pixels, similar to something like Minecraft. At the start of each lap, you'll launch to the gun used in Duck Hunt to blast to this field, and race back to start another lap. They reach the end of the track and head towards the road towards HQ, but a mysterious force field blocks the way. They then look right towards another section of the island, which houses a cannon which will launch them to where they need to go, so they make haste that way. And that leads to our third track, Punch Out. Inside a big arena, you'll race through the crowd until you take the walkway and race around the boxing ring in the center, where a pixelated version of Little Mac is fighting someone who looks very similar to Mike Tyson. After leaving the arena, the duo enter the barrel launcher and launch themselves towards HQ and glitch out midair. They then crash land into the front lawn and look up at the building. For our final track, we have Original Offices. For the final track of the cup, we traverse through the original Nintendo offices from the 80s. Just a classic boring office vibe where we go through meeting rooms and cubicles until we reach the laboratory and get shrunken down to enter the wiring of the NES for the final section. In the story mode, Duck Hunt and Little Mac fix the coding while inside the console. After successfully fixing the code in the NES, they leave the building and end up in the parking lot. As they high-five, the ground shakes and the side of the building blows open to reveal a massive Rob robot. Looks like they messed up some other code while they were in there. The boss fight then begins. The Rob fight. When the fight begins, the first stage takes place in a square parking lot with cars darted around. Rob will move towards you and use a slam down attack which you must avoid. Collect shells from the item boxes to damage him 3 times and enter the next stage. Rob will plant himself in the middle of the lot and start spinning his top half around rapidly until it causes a whirlwind and knocks all the cars back. He will remain locked in the center of the lot and will continuously charge single shot lasers from his eyes. The item boxes are now in between the cars, so you must use right timing as he shoots to grab one, otherwise you'll get hit. After dealing enough damage, his eyes will get supercharged and he will carve trenches into the lot and he will fall down into them. And from using so much energy, he shrinks down and hops into a cart to chase you through the new formally track in the final stage. After once again hitting him 3 times, you will defeat him, and then Duck Hunt and Little Mac then high five. After beating the story cup, you're rewarded with Little Mac, who also has a single pixelated edit style. And on hard mode, you'll be granted Rob, who features a red and cream alternate style. Now, we move on to Wave 3. Wave 3 is obviously Metroid, so as you could probably imagine, you'll unlock Samus right away. She features 3 alternate edit styles which can all be purchased from different merchants around the new island, which also unlocks with the wave. And you'll be playing as Samus throughout the story cup, which we'll talk about right now. The scene opens with Samus looking down at her control panel as she tracks the space pirates to the planet Talon. She then arrives to the planet and lands down. This opens our first track of the cup, Talon 4. A rainy, swampy environment is what makes up our first track of the Metroid Cup. Winding through the lap, at the end you'll briefly pass through the Chozo ruins. All the while you are racing baby Metroids. This will be the same enemy you race for the rest of the cup. After discovering traces of the pirates, Samus finds that they have traveled to another region of the planet, Phendrana Drifts, which leads to our next track. As you can imagine, it's Phendrana Drifts. In another region of the planet, we race here through the frigid cold. It's basically just a winter map. Nothing more to say. Samus is hot on the pirate's tail When they get the materials they came for, load into their ship and blast off the planet. Luckily, Samus had shot a tracker onto their ship before it flew away. Samus gets back in her ship and after some time comes to the planet Ether, where the tracker has led her. Into our third track, Sanctuary Fortress, a futuristic base featuring dull steel and cold lights. Race through the base and glide over a huge pit at the end of the lap. After discovering they had sold all their material and went back to their home base, Samus makes her way to Torian, where our final track, Torian, takes place. This track pays homage to the last mission in the original Metroid game, taking place on Torian. It's a very difficult track filled with an abundance of tight corridors and turns. After making her way through the space pirate's base, she finds herself face to face with their leader, Ridley. Once coming into contact with Ridley in his main hangout spot, you'll have to race around him as he tries to slash and stomp you. Once you've hit him 3 times, he'll punch the center of the arena, collapsing the floor and bringing you to the second stage. This arena is broken off into 3 sections, which Ridley will roam trying to damage you. Hitting him 3 times, he'll then scoop you up and fly through the ceiling to an outside arena to fight in the final stage, which cinematically takes place in the rain. He keeps his slashing and stomping attacks, this time he's just a little bit faster. After finally besting him, Samus then stands over his body and hits a badass pose. For the characters you unlock through this cup, the first is Baby Metroid. It, however, has no alternate styles. It's just a floating brain type deal. Beating the cup on hard mode obviously grants Ridley. He has a cyborg-like Meta Ridley style, which can be purchased from this wave's island. And with that, we move on to our wave 4. Our fourth wave is Nintendo Today. Obviously, this is similar to the Nintendo Classics, but it's just based off of IPs that are being used today. Our first character that's unlocked right away is the Wii Fit Trainer. She has a male edit style, and she is the playable character for our story cup, which we will go into right now. Our scene opens up with the Wii Fit Trainer stretching, looking over the island from a mountain. She is seemingly the protector of this land, when her watch gives her a notification. The Nintendo Switch, which floats over a massive cavern in the middle of the island, is low on battery, so she hops in her cart and speeds off. Into our first track, 21st Century. The first track of this cup features you racing along 3 different consoles from the start of the 2000s, the GameCube, DS, and the famous Wii. The other racers here in story mode will all be Mii's. After leaving the other consoles, she continues her way to Animal Crossing Island. She just keeps on going until we get to track 2, AC Island, a basic Animal Crossing island. It's bright, airy, and peaceful. You'll race random Animal Crossing NPCs here during the story mode. After leaving the island, she makes her way to the Splatlands, where she will be able to launch herself off the Eiffel Tower to get back to the Switch. And track 3, Splatlands. This track races along the edge of the cavern, which houses the Eiffel Tower upside down. Race onto the monument to get to the other side, then glide back to finish a lap. In story mode, you'll be racing against a bunch of Inklings here. Launching from the tower, the Wii Fit Trainer hits a yoga pose midair and then lands on the Switch, which is our final track, the Switch. A large continuous track which races along a massive Nintendo Switch floating over a huge abyss. Race around every button and joystick until you begin racing on the screen itself, using the path found on it. You'll be battling random Switch-themed characters on here, for example like Breath of the Wild Link. After reaching the end of the track, the trainer attempts to reconnect the charger floating from the abyss, but she is pulled into the screen of the Switch by Min Min and is forced to fight her to escape the hardware. The Min Min fight. The first stage of this fight features an open circle arena, and Min Min is on a disconnected island in the center. She will use her arms to reach across the gap and punch you. You must collect shells and launch them over to her. Once you've done so 3 times, she will place her hands into keyholes on her island and crank. This then lifts 4 bridges up to connect the 2 islands. She will hop in her cart and attack you freely as she roams. Hitting her 3 times again, you'll enter the final stage where she locks her hands on the keys once again and creates a linear raceway to chase you down. As you can imagine, hitting her 3 times finishes the fight, and the Wii Fit Trainer escapes the game and plugs the Switch in, saving the day. Once you have beaten the story cup, you will unlock Inklings. You can unlock the boy style through a merchant, and I didn't include it here, but you can also change their colors just like in Mario Kart 8. And once you have replayed the cup on hard difficulty, you'll be awarded Min Min. She also has a darker, moodier outfit, which can be acquired by a similar merchant. And I know a bunch of you are screaming your heads off, but what about Animal Crossing? And to you guys, I have good news. In the base game, there is an NPC character select, and on the island added in this wave, a ton of Animal Crossing NPCs would be added. I don't play Animal Crossing, but I looked it up and it said there are over 400 different ones. Maybe we just say there are 10 to unlock, so whatever 10 are your favorite, those will be the ones added. And they will be unlocked through the hitchhiker method, which is already in the base game. And with that, we move on to Wave 5. Wave 5 is Banjo-Kazooie. I thought Banjo-Kazooie was owned by Microsoft, which it is, but the first game was actually published by Nintendo. So I wanted to switch it up and do something that was fun for this fifth one, and this seemed just like a great option. Obviously, when you unlock the wave, the first thing that'll be unlocked is Banjo-Kazooie, who has a singular edit style, which is like a super polygonal edit style. It's basically just the model used from the N64 version. And obviously, like all the other ones, there's a new island to explore too. But let's move on to the cup. The scene opens with Banjo and his boy, Kazooie, just sleeping, in their own respective beds of course. And they are comically covered in cobwebs to show that they have not been used in a very long time. When a girl screaming wakes them up. They rush to their window and see Gruntilda carrying off Banjo's sister, Tootie. So the duo hop in their one cart and race off. For our first track of the Banjo Cup, we have Spiral Mountain. This track is a deceptive name, however. You never actually race up the mountain, just around it, passing random landmarks like Banjo's house along the way. As you race, you're chasing Gruntilda on a broom in front of you the whole time, but you can never catch her, all while you are being chased by her gruntlings. After the third lap, Gruntley gains enough speed and blasts off in the cloud, so the two friends continue in that general direction, until they get to the second track, Pterodactyl Land. The second track, you traverse through a lush environment and go through a cave that features tons of not-so-friendly dinosaurs. In story mode, there is still a bunch of gruntlings on your tail. Once beating that track, the duo talk to a friendly pterodactyl, and she tells them that she saw a witch flying over the frozen lake, so the duo make haste that way. Onto the third track, Freezing Furnace. This track takes place in a frozen tundra that has lava pipes throughout the level. You have to watch out for both ice and lava, and the gruntlings will have to watch out too. As they finish their search around the frozen furnace, they finally see Gruntilda flying to the terrarium. So as you can predict, they go that way. On to our fourth track, Terrarium of Terror. This track is interesting and takes place in a massive terrarium filled with huge plants which you will race along. It's the second to last level in the entire series of Banjo actually, according to Google, so that's why I chose it. Now you're probably asking, why didn't I just choose the very last level? Well, because they reused Spiral Mountain for the last level. So that's why it's this random level, I guess. And for the final time, in story mode, you're racing against gruntlings. Once you beat that track, after finally catching up to Gruntilda, the duo grab hold of the back of her broom right as she blasts off, and they go with her. They then all land in her witch's lair, and the fight begins. The Gruntilda fight. When the fight starts, you'll be chased by Gruntilda as she hurls witch potions at you around her lair. After hitting her 3 times, she will spin around and start running from you. Through chasing her, you guessed it, you gotta hit her thrice. This will bring you into the final stage where she drinks a potion and becomes huge. The entire arena then becomes open and she can randomly teleport around it. Hitting her 3 times finally puts her down. Then Banjo and Kazooie finally rescue Tootie. The end. Beating the story cup, you might think, oh, we are unlocking Tootie. No, we aren't. I think she visually isn't as cool as Banjo's friend, Mumbo Jumbo. He had no part in the story cup. Sorry, I'm not coping. I just want to have him because he is the first reward and he's way cooler, but no alternate styles for him. And when replaying on hard mode, you guessed it correctly this time, you get Gruntilda. And she actually has 3 additional styles. And I'm going to play Arm Psychologist one more time. You're probably like, what the fuck is that top right skin? In the original game, if you lose to Gruntilda, she succeeds in her mission and steals Tootie's beauty and turns into that. So, as a fun nod to unlock that style, you need to lose during the boss fight and you'll unlock it. As for her Banjo-Tooie and Nuts and Bolts styles, they're unlocked through merchants just like normal. And with that, we move to the final wave, Wave 6. And for our final wave, as you could probably tell, it's Pokemon. Immediately, you'll unlock Red as the Pokemon trainer for the first character. And obviously an island, blah blah blah, you get the deal. Let's just jump into the story cup because that's what I really enjoy. The scene for our story cup opens with looking out a window. You will see the sun rise and the Pokemon trainer Red raise his head into view from sleeping. He then rushes down the stairs. This is the day he gets his first Pokemon. As he walks out the door, there stands Professor Oak and his rival Blue. They look at each other, then down the road to Oak's lab, back at each other and smile. They then hop in their carts to race to the lab. And for our first track, we have Pallet Town, a track that travels through the quiet Pallet Town. You'll make your way up to Professor Oak's lab, travel through it, and then go around the hills to come back into the town. In story mode, you'll race only Blue and Professor Oak as you play as Red. After beating Professor Oak and Blue, he brings you to the iconic table to choose your starter Pokemon, where you will actually choose your Pokemon for the rest of the story cup. The choices are obvious: Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle. After choosing, Blue will pick whatever Pokemon is stronger against yours. You and Blue then part ways and begin your Pokemon journey. There's then a quick montage of you beating the gyms until you reach Lavender Town. Which, for our track 2, we have Lavender Town, a spooky town in the Pokemon universe. You'll race through the moody streets until reaching the Pokemon Tower, which houses dead Pokemon, and race to the top to glide over the city and start a new lap. In story mode, you'll actually be racing as the Pokemon you chose, with Red following behind, and you'll race against Blue and his respective Pokemon. After beating Blue and his Pokemon, your Pokemon then evolves into their next evolution. Another montage happens of beating the gym leaders until at the 6th gym, Sabrina's gym. After defeating it, you walk out to see Team Rocket stealing Blue's Pokemon, so the rivals team up and chase after them. For our third track, Team Rocket Hideout. Race through the secret hideout of Team Rocket. Race through their clean hallways and training grounds until you reach the end of the lap, where you pass through a laboratory with a massive glass vat that is broken. In story mode, you'll race as your second evolution Pokemon, accompanied by Red and Blue behind you, and you'll race a bunch of Team Rocket members. After rescuing Blue's Pokemon, yours will evolve into its final evolution. Another montage will happen of beating the final gym leaders until you stand before Victory Road at last. Blue and his Pokemon then pull up beside you. You look at each other, give a similar smile to your first meeting, and then start racing. On to our fourth track, Victory Road. In our final track, you'll race through Victory Road. You'll traverse through rugged caves and paths until you reach the Pokemon League and traverse through the Elite Four's respective arenas until you reach the end of the track and finish in the main battle arena. In the story, you'll play as your final evolution stage Pokemon, racing against Blue and his Pokemon. After beating the Elite Four and Blue, you are now crowned the champion. Some time passes, 3 months later. It cuts to Red in his champion quarters when Blue rushes in and communicates there are rumors of a monster Pokemon in Cerulean Cave. The duo race there and enter the cave and encounter Mewtwo. The Mewtwo boss fight. The first stage takes place inside the cave where Mewtwo floats around the arena, throwing psychic energy towards you. Once you've damaged him 3 times, he starts to meditate, then his eyes burst open with blue light, and all of a sudden, you're transported to Pallet Town in a dreamlike sequence. You'll race through a track different from the layout of the original, and you are chasing Mewtwo as he floats in front of you while he maintains eye contact with you the whole time. During this, he will also continuously launch his energy towards you as well. Once you've done enough damage, you'll enter the final stage and wake up. Mewtwo will at this point use Double Team and spawn 6 doppelgangers. Once you hit the right one, the others will fade away until he respawns them again. As you can guess, you need to hit him 3 times in total, and then you finally beat him. Red then walks up, pulls a Master Ball out, throws it, and cuts to black. I never mentioned the other Pokemon trainer styles because I totally forgot to, so I'll do it here. He has an Ethan, Blue, and Professor Oak skin, all unlocked through storefronts. And once you've beaten the story cup, you will unlock whatever starter line you chose, and have all 3 evolutions. So if you want to unlock all 3 different types of starters, you will have to replay and pick a new one until you've caught them all. As for the final unlockable character, we have Mewtwo. Obviously unlocked after completing the cup on hard mode, he has 3 alternate styles, the Armored, and then the Mega X and Mega Y, which are all unlocked through merchants. And we did race Team Rocket members, so you can find a hitchhiking Rocket member somewhere on the island for that NPC selector from before. And with our 6th wave being over, that concludes the Mario Kart Ultimate DLC. I think maybe at one point I'll do another like booster course like this, but you're probably not for a while. I got some other projects I want to work on, some stuff I want to get out by October. It's going to be this same style where I'm designing a game, and it's going to be for a game that comes out in October that I know is going to suck, so I'm working on it right now. I'm sure if you're following along with what the last wave was, you can probably guess what I'm thinking. Anyway, sorry I'm rambling. I am going to end the video now. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. Hope you have a good one. And can't believe I'm saying this in real life. Please subscribe. Thank you.